Thank you.
Feel free to guess.
It's okay. Went out there and I was like, not again.
That's right, there it is.
What the hell happened to the way this one? They go and comes down there and they have tax stamp 249 and 5.
Oh, yeah, they hit the bolt down, yeah.
Okay, I've got a couple minutes after 4, so we'll go ahead and get started. And I'll call the Town Council meeting of January 11th, 2021 to order. And the first order of business is the invocation and the pledge.
All right, let us pray. Dear Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day today, and we thank you that we're finally in the new year. Father, we pray for not just our community and our country, but the entire world as we continue to battle this pandemic. We just pray that hopefully progress will be made in the coming months, and we just pray for a wonderful and productive meeting this evening. All these things we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Kristi, you want to lead us in the pledge? Yeah. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you very much. And everyone should have received a copy of last month's minutes. Any comments, corrections?
I move to approve December 14th, 2020 minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good, thank you very much. Rebecca, Treasurer's report, please.
All right, I think everyone did pick up the financial information for December. And there were 0 transfers, 2 were from the operating account during the month. We are 50% through the budget year. A few comments. You'll see that the highway user revenue item looks a little bit low. It just appears as if that revenue is slow in coming. We've only received 1 payment, which covered July and August. And based on that receipt, we may not reach the projection, but obviously that's a function of gas tax and our population and our car registration. And so I think we're finally seeing how people aren't driving. I do want to specifically talk about CARES Act reimbursement that the county passed through to Leonardtown. So between FY20 and what we received before the end of December, they passed through $11,900 to us. So that helped offset the expenses that we incurred, that we wouldn't necessarily have incurred because of things we changed due to COVID. I can happily report for the first time since I've worked here, there are no unpaid delinquent taxes. So 0 accounts going to the county tax sale.
Very good.
We do have about 10 customers still complying with utility payment plans. We started with 20. I had 10 pay in full. So I'm still working with 10 customers. As of the end of December, everyone was in compliance. So they have it till the end of January to make their next monthly payment. I do have one agenda item, which is for council to review and approve the recommended budget calendar. So given there is no council election this year, we will recommend a late budget adoption. And so working backwards, if we adopt a budget in June, you can see we have few more months before we have to start looking at draft documents. And that gives me more information as we get through the budget year to make projections. So if everyone at this point feels comfortable, you can give me approval and I'll distribute to all the staff.
We just need consensus on that. We don't need a motion. Everyone good with?
Yeah, I'm fine with that, yes.
Okay. Tyler, you good with the budget calendar?
Yeah, I'm good with the schedule proposed.
Okay. Thank you.
And I have already been required to submit to St. Mary's County our budget request for next year. And so that was a small increase up to $44,461. So I'll just monitor the county budget process as it moves forward, just make sure that that will be funded. And that's it.
Okay. Any questions for Rebecca? Okay. Thank you very much. Jada, Planning Department, please.
The last Planning and Zoning Board meeting was held December 21st. There were 3 items on the agenda. The first one was for Clark's Rest. They had a small modification to Phase 4 of their approved site plan. It was very minor, just removing a couple homes, adding townhomes. Very small. It was approved. And then the Phase 4 plat approvals for that modification with Clark's Rest was also approved. And then we introduced the ordinance number 204, the critical area ordinance, chapter 60, and they did provide a favorable recommendation to town council. Currently, there's one item on the January 19th agenda, and I would like to note that that is a Tuesday meeting rather than a Monday meeting because of the holiday. For case number 12-20, just to reintroduce the annexation to the Planning and Zoning Board. And that's all I have.
Okay. Meadows of Town Run, where does that stand? I see looks like they only have 10 lots available in the current.
Actually, Phase 1 is sold completely.
Completely,
They have
okay.
a buyer for every single lot in Phase 1, and they're starting the groundwork on Phase 2 already.
Yep.
So
Okay.
they're moving forward quickly. They're not, they haven't met their UNO requirement for 2020, but I don't think they'll have any problems catching up in 2021.
Yeah, I was going to say they're
Yeah,
pending settlement.
exactly.
Okay. Anything else for Jada? Okay. Thank you very much. And everyone should have received Corporal Nelson's police report. Anything you would like to add to this?
Just to say thank you for everybody who donated to the Christmas and the families. We were able to bless every single resident at Newtown Village with a bag and presents and food, and then 3 other families, plus the 2 that we adopted with the cops unit. So there was a lot to go around.
Okay.
We made a lot of people cry,
Yeah. Good.
in a good way.
Yes, yes. One of the few good ways this past year. Speaking of last year, could you get me the accident numbers for
Yes,
the
I will
police?
send an email, yep.
Okay, thank you. Anything else for Corporal Nelson? Thank you. Okay, Laschelle, Town Administrator's report.
We have the, back up to planning, we have the 4:15 public hearing.
Oh, okay, that's right.
It's time for that, so
Okay.
I can go ahead and do my review, and then at
Okay.
that point, it'll be
Yep.
4:15. Okay, so this is the introduction of ordinance number 204, the critical area ordinance for chapter 60 of the Leonardtown Code. The last major update to chapter 60 was in 2002. The new critical area maps were actually adopted in December of 18, so that changed any updated lines within what was in the critical area. State regulations have been updated since our 2002 regulations, and they actually overrule any of our regulations anyway. So these are what you're seeing today is what we have to abide by for the state. And this is the state model ordinance as it was reviewed and adapted to Leonardtown by the attorney, critical area staff, Jada, and myself. Planning Commission sent a favorable recommendation from their December 21st meeting, and we'll hold a public hearing shortly, and then the council can take action today after following the public hearing. There was one page that we inserted, we didn't reprint, well, actually, we did reprint for the council, the whole ordinance, but page 22 just had some information that we had to insert, and so I printed that page just so you would see the changes that were made since last month when it was introduced. And that just, we were waiting on information from the critical area for that. Just added McIntosh Run as the habitat areas that we have. And those are underlined on number 6 on page 22. Everything else is the same as was introduced last month. Did you want to add anything, Jada?
No, I think you covered it all.
So we can go ahead and do the public hearing.
Okay, and like you said, we do have 4:15 public hearing for the critical areas regulation. Plus, we have a second one at 4:30, public hearing ordinance number 205 for the sale of surplus property and acquisition of real property for public purpose. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to close the regular hearing and open the public hearing for ordinance number 204.
So I move to close the regular business meeting and open the public hearing in regards to ordinance number 204.
I'll second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Okay.
The public hearing was advertised in the County Times on December 31st, and we have not received any comments prior to this meeting.
Okay. Do we have any public comment regarding this ordinance? Okay. Hearing none, I guess we can close the public hearing and open the regular meeting again.
I move to close the public hearing and resume the regular business meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, so there was no comment, no public response, so you are able to move forward with ordinance number 204, which would repeal the existing Chapter 60 of critical areas of the Code of the Town of Leonardtown and adopt the new regulation.
All right, I move to approve ordinance number 204, repealing and reenacting Chapter 60 of the Leonardtown Code, Critical Areas Program.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Okay, you want to move down to your next agenda item besides the 4:30 public hearing?
First item is going to be a public hearing, so I'll just move on to others, items until we get to 4:30. So the next one would be letter C, EDU request for 22535 Washington Street. The property at 225 Washington Street is requesting an EDU for an infill project. It's owned by Mr. and Mrs. Eible, and they are here in the audience today if you have any questions. The Eibles purchased the property in 2020 and would like to subdivide a parcel off the 3/4 acre site to create a 1/4 acre building lot beside their home. The property lies in the planned infill and redevelopment district and is eligible for an EDU. If granted, the property would then go through the planning and zoning process. In your packets, I gave you the property information. This would be the second house from the bottom, previously Dr. Winnick's home, and there is a vacant lot beside of it that is shown on the plat that they're wanting to subdivide. It's the quarter acre one between parcel 324 and 323, excuse me. I also put in your packets ordinance 132, which was enacted in 2008. Until we expand the wastewater treatment plant, you all need to approve any new projects and for EDUs. And there are different reasons why you can approve that. This one would be under the infill project, and they have to be within the planned infill and redevelopment district to meet that requirement. And this property does.
Comments, questions?
The only comment I had was I saw the property was already listed for sale, so I guess we're moving forward with it.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, as long as
they
this
can still
moves.
sell it and
Yeah.
not build on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
But for
No,
them
and
to
it
build
is-
on it, they have to have an EDU.
Right,
so.
and it said it was pending,
Yeah.
but I just thought it was interesting. It popped up this morning. I was like, oh,
Oh.
well, there you go. Sorry for saying that. It's already out there.
Any comments?
No, sir.
Okay.
All right, well, I move to approve one EDU for 22535 Washington Street for an infill vacant lot per ordinance number 132-1C.
I'll second.
Motion and second, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Motion carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, the next item is the reintroduction of Resolution 2-20, the annexation of 4 parcels consisting of 37.6845 acres, plus or minus. This annexation was introduced in September of 2020, but ran into a snag with a small property that prohibited the parcels from being contiguous. This has been resolved, and we are now ready to move forward by adding to the 3 original parcels an additional parcel owned by the State Highway Administration, which includes the Route 5 roadbed. All documents have been updated to bring the total annexation to 37.6845 acres. I've also worked with the Maryland Department of Planning to revise the comp plan update that we submitted to them and approved by Ordinance 200, which was effective August 31st of 20. And I did attach that in your packets just so you can review. They went in a little bit more detail and talk about this additional parcel, but we don't have to go through the whole process again. So today, you have in front of you the annexation resolution, which includes the petition, which has been signed by the 4 property owners. The property, the Bennett property, there are 2 parcels, though that has already been purchased by the St. Mary's Nursing Center at this time, so we had to go back and change all the documents to reflect that sale. The meets and bounds for all 4 properties, and the annexation plan and the comp plan update, as I mentioned a minute ago. So we will hold a public hearing in February on the annexation. Just to refresh everybody's memory, this was requested to be annexed to allow sewer to the site for the St. Mary's Nursing Center. They want to build a memory care facility. So this is part of that process, but they needed to come into town to have access to the public sewer. Any questions?
In the future, they're just looking at one building. Is it one building? Or would it be
It's
more?
actually 2. There's a future one, but right now it's just the 1 building.
Okay. So we don't take any action on this today? Then?
Correct.
Okay.
And the Valley property is currently an office for linear survey that will remain commercial office and the use that it is now. Then the State Highway property, we just needed to annex that sliver that goes between Riken and these properties so that, to make it contiguous to town. And then the 2 parcels for the nursing center property. And the second part of that is reintroducing ordinance number 201, which is the comprehensive zoning map revisions. So once we have the public hearing and approve the resolution for annexing the property in February, then we have to assign zoning for the town, which doesn't always match exactly to what the categories that the county has. So anything that is different than what the county has as zoning or as similar as possible, the county does have to approve, and they have sent a letter that they agree with the institutional office zoning, which would be for the St. Mary's Nursing Center property. Once again, commercial office is similar on the Valley property, and the state highway doesn't really have a zoning category. So we have received approval from the county for the zoning. And so we will also have a public hearing in February on ordinance 201 to update our zoning map to include these parcels if they're annexed. Any questions on that?
Any questions?
I think you said, Lachelle's backtracking, so we're, is it Lanier Services? So we're also, they're coming in too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The Bennett, well, it was the Bennett property, now the Nursing Center property kind of wraps around that property.
Okay. All right.
And just to, also, just to refresh for the public as well, we did, when we did the comp plan update, we included some other properties that are between Cedar Lane and these properties we're talking about that could be parcels that would want to annex in the future, so we don't have to go through the comp plan update if more of them, because some of them have talked about annexing into town. All of those are residential zoning, with the exception one is an agricultural zoning.
Are any of those in that critical area? Would they need that?
No, the St. Mary's Nursing Center property does have some critical area,
Okay,
but the rest of them do not, are outside the critical area.
Okay. We still have about 5 minutes, so.
I still have a couple more.
Yeah.
Next item was to authorize a contract for Tortigalis and Partners to review the waterfront plan and the Tudor Hall plan. As we move forward with the initial planning of the 400-acre parcel known as Tudor Hall Farm, it's critical that we get the planning right and that the property is integrated into the existing downtown, and that the many public, recreational, and waterfront opportunities are not lost during the planning process. We can only do it once. We are recommending a professional planning agency to review the direction that we're going in. We think that would be very beneficial. So they would review the waterfront plan that we already did in 2012, I believe that was updated. And then also the updated concept plan, which will be submitted by Tudor Hall Farm. And also, we will be bringing forward some land swaps to do with that property as well. So it's just a really critical piece for the future of the town, and so we would really like to have this company to review the plans just as a one-time contract. The Tortigalis was recommended by the Economic Development for the county, Chris Casalemas. They work with the county on the Airport Innovation District and did a really good job, and they really get St. Mary's County and what we are dealing with here. And he felt that they would be a really good fit for this initiative. It was not a budgeted item, and so it would have to be funded by fund balance. It will be an hourly, but the maximum would be $4,950. And I put in your packet there'll be a site visit and a kickoff meeting, so they can really get a feel for what growth we have going on, and what's being proposed on the Tudor Hall Farm. There was a request to also meet with the council that day when they're here, and then they would review the previous plans, and then mark up the site plan of the initial concept plan that we've seen so far from Tudor Hall Farms, and give us feedback on that.
Do we know when they would start approximately?
Once you approve the contract, I will be scheduling with them, and so they'll probably try to get down here in the next few weeks. We may try to do maybe on the day of the next workshop or something, so they can meet with you after the walkthrough that day.
That'd be good, that'd be great.
This is our first time dealing with them?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, they presented way back when WCI was owner of the Tudor, or had a contract on Tudor Hall Farms. They worked with WCI to do some renderings for some of the neo-traditional houses that they were proposing in there. So we have known of them, and they're a very highly respected company.
And I'll definitely go with Chris Castleman's recommendation too, so.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
important to get a company that really has a feel and understands, like Mahan Reichel did,
Mhm.
Crozier
Right.
Associates in the past, the area that they're dealing with.
Great.
It looks like they're coming from Silver Spring too, so they're a little more local than,
Yeah.
they're not flying up from California or something. I like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of growth, why don't you just mention that when you were doing working on the,
Yeah.
I forget which
The comp plan.
comp plan, yes, and then
Or
the,
whatever I was working on that day.
yeah.
Yeah, I had just updated some information from Maryland Department of Planning, and for the last 10 years, we were the #1 percentage-wise in growth of any municipality in Maryland, and it was by a significant margin. I think it was 28% more than the next closest one, so
Is that residential growth or business growth or both?
residential.
Residential, yeah.
Mhm.
So I just think it's very important that we, get some well-recommended guidance from Torty Gallis.
Mhm.
Okay, any questions on that?
All right, I move to approve the contract for Torty Gallis and Partners for the initial review of the Tudor Hall concept plan and the waterfront plan in the amount of $4,950 based on the contract in relationship with St. Mary's County Economic Development.
I'll second.
Motion and second, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. It's, actually, I think it is 4:30.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
little
recording.
slow there, I think so. All right, we'll entertain a motion to close the regular meeting and open the public hearing for ordinance number 205.
And I move to close the regular business meeting and open the public hearing in regards to ordinance number 205.
Okay? Is a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay.
Okay, this public hearing is for ordinance number 205, sale of surplus property and acquisition of real property for a public purpose. This ordinance was introduced at the December 14th meeting. The public hearing was advertised in the County Times on December 31st, 2020. The town is in the process of designing an expansion of the wastewater treatment plant facility on Van Wert Lane and is in need of additional land to build shellfish protection tanks for the project. The land that we're talking about contains 16,190 acres and is adjacent to the existing facility. And I'll show a drawing here in just a minute. And it was available for purchase. The appraised value was $192,391 for the 16,000, square feet, not acres, I'm sorry. 16,000 square feet.
Oh, Leonardtown.
Yeah, way more than, and then the land is capable of holding, we believe, another tank in the future for when the next expansion would be needed, so that was an added bonus. The seller, Van Wert LLC, desires to purchase a 970 square foot parcel of surplus land that we deemed surplus at last meeting, that's adjacent to his remaining property in the amount of $4,268, which is also the appraised value of that parcel. what we did is our parcel is larger than what we would be selling, and we took the per square foot value of that appraisal and applied it to the number of square foot that he is asking to purchase. Both parties are also requesting easements. The seller desires an easement for parking adjacent to the piece being purchased from the town, and the town desires a stormwater management easement across the seller's parcel on parcel 362. So, just for the audience, and you all have a copy of the exhibit as well. So, it's hard to see, I know, but this is the lagoons at the wastewater treatment plant. There's apartments here on Wert Lane. So the parcel that we're looking to purchase is this 16,000 square foot parcel right here. So we would purchase that. The town owns this parcel, which it's a hillside that goes up to Courthouse Drive where our town well number 4 is. And so just this little orange parcel, 970 square feet, is what is being requested to be purchased by the landowner that is going to remain the landowner of this parcel. Then the blue is an easement that the town would give for additional space. Instead of selling that whole blue and orange parcel, we would just give an easement for some parking on the blue part, and we would still be able to construct stormwater management under that parking area per the agreement. And then an equal amount of easement is what we're requesting from the seller behind their existing parcel for stormwater. We are working on a project to deal with some of the flooding as the stormwater comes down the hill and floods out the plant. Then we get hit on the other side from Town Run where stormwater backs up. So as part of this expansion at the wastewater treatment plant, we're working on dealing with that stormwater. So we want to make sure that we can do piping along the property there. So that's what the easements are for. Any questions?
Any comments, questions from the audience? Okay.
So Exhibit A of the resolution includes the contract for sale and spells out all the items that we just talked about, and then also the easement agreement. And we'll vote on those separately to move those forward, but it is part of the ordinance to spell out the terms and everything.
And we received no comment?
No comment, no.
Okay.
Public comment.
Public comment, okay. Okay, I guess we need to go back to the regular meeting, so entertain a motion to close the public hearing and move back to the regular meeting.
I move to close the public hearing and go back to the regular meeting.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, at this time, you're able to take action on ordinance number 205, sale of surplus property and acquisition of real property for a public purpose and exchange of stormwater management easements. And as I said, as part of the ordinance, it does have a draft of the contract for sale and the easement agreement.
All right, well, I move to approve ordinance number 205, sale of surplus property and acquisition of real property for a public purpose and exchange of stormwater management easement.
I'll second.
Motion is second, further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
All right, and then the next part of that is the, to approve, approve the contract of sale and purchase of the real property on Wert Lane for public purpose and the easement agreement. So this would just be to allow the mayor, excuse me, the mayor or myself to move forward with the terms that we just approved. And we are already in the process of getting the survey, which needs to be part of that contract of sale. And then we can finalize and go to settlement. We have in the contract settlement before April 30th. We're hoping prior to that to go to settlement.
Okay. I move to authorize the mayor and town administrator to move forward with the contract of sale and easement agreements for the Van Wert properties as described in Ordinance 205.
Second?
Okay, motion and second. Further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
And I just had one item left at the bottom, GHD task orders. GHD is our water sewer engineers. I have some other task orders that we're working on, but none of them were ready to bring forward other than task order number 24. It's actually 24, it says 25 on this motion. Task order 24 is to extend the general services assistance task order. The initial tasks would be to provide electrical assistance for well number 5 with the necessary control improvements. We've been having a number of problems. Our well was out for a second time. It's burn up the motor and twice, and we need to find out what's going on and put some safeguards in there. So they will be working on that. The second is to evaluate the McIntosh pump station due to the ongoing flooding issues. And then the rest would be just for the ongoing, we approved previously some funding so that if the wastewater treatment plant staff needs engineering guidance on an as-needed basis, they can call them up and we have an hourly task order for that. So this is for a maximum of $25,000 as needed.
Comments?
Do we expect it'll go over that 25,000 or?
They're, based on what they've already looked at for the well and for the McIntosh pump station, they think that they can meet that, and then it still leaves some for just the everyday assistance that we need. I mean, that's just really for the looking at the problem, what they would recommend. It doesn't actually, implement the whatever they're recommending, but it's for them to research.
The actual work to get it done. This is just research to
Okay.
see what needs to be
What
done.
needs to be done?
So does this come out of like the capital project budget, or does it come out of services?
Would be out of water, I guess, most of it, or depending
Well,
on
they'll
what-
have to bill according to the department, so if it's McIntosh Run, it's collection system.
Okay.
For the well is water system. It'll get charged to a professional services line item. And it's my responsibility just to watch the budget and determine if I need to move contingency money around. Yeah.
So once again, it's 24, not 25, as on the motion.
Where are they located?
Bowie, they've been our engineers for over 20 years, I know, 25 maybe, something like that, 25 years.
Laschelle, you said it's gonna be 24,000, not 25?
No, it's,
No.
or a task order number 24.
Oh, task order, okay. All right, well, I move to approve task order number 24, general services assistance in the amount of $25,000.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
And that's all I have.
Okay. Okay, well, my report, we do have one vacant member of the Board of Appeals, and I'm recommending that Charles Breck be appointed. Charles was on the council before, and he was on our Planning and Zoning Board, so he does have some experience, whereas the current appeals members don't have experience in either Planning and Zoning or the Appeals Board. other than, just, they haven't had a hearing since they've been on there, so.
I think Charlie would be a good fit.
Yep. So that's just consensus, right?
No, they actually.
No, this was actual motion.
Make a motion.
Okay.
I move to appoint Charlie Breck as member of the Board of Appeals.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. And Charlie does live in Singletree, so that gives some, we try to balance the boards, make sure everyone's got a say. The only other thing I want to mention, the hotel, they got their delivery of their furniture last week, so they're in there, should be working through the spring, or they're hoping to open in the spring, so should be getting close, so. And I was going to have Jada mention that she met out at the, is it the Haddon townhouse on Lawrence Avenue, the one that's been boarded up. There is a contract for that townhouse, so hopefully that goes through, and they're planning on going in and just completely, tearing out everything and completely redoing it, so.
Keep it as townhouses.
Oh, yeah, it's got to stay as a
Yeah.
townhouse, but,
Great.
just kind of,
That's really good.
yep, so. Okay, that's all I had. Moving on, council reports. Tyler, events?
Good afternoon. So, as everyone's aware, we had the Christmas on the Square, Christmas and Wintertime virtual event, which aired on Saturday, December 12th. The event was produced by Brandon Blackstone with the commissioners of Leonardtown, Ron Bailey with Ron Bailey Productions, and Ed DeLauro of Winston Media. And it reached over 3,000 people, which was very successful for it being done virtually. And a special thank you to the Leonardtown Volunteer Fire Department and Auxiliary for their efforts in the tree lighting ceremony, and to Mayor Dan Burris and his family for helping host the event that was hosted on the Christmas Leonardtown virtual event. In addition, local performers, Robbie Booth, Donovan Farrell, Philip Michael Parsons, Tara Ray, Wes Wright, Letitia Smith, Brandy Snyder, Donald Quaid, and Katrina Vitez. They all filmed the Amazing Grace collaboration music video and shot at different locations around Leonardtown, which was a really good video, and it's on the Leonardtown website as well. Additionally, new classes and shows and events are being added to the virtual programming, the Leonardtown A&E Online, and there's a new show hosted by the St. Mary's County Arts Council, which will feature spotlights from local artists, as well as performances from local musicians and performing artists. Additionally, there's new art classes with North End Gallery Series, and then knitting classes with Crazy Brew. And then there's more upcoming virtual events, including the Leonardtown Summer Music Festival, the annual Earth Day celebration, and more. So everyone can visit the Leonardtown website to see more of these programs being uploaded on a regular basis. That was all I had.
Yeah, if you all saw the rendition of Amazing Grace, it really was outstanding, yeah.
And nice showing Leonardtown too.
Yeah, yep.
Beautiful.
Okay, thank you, Tyler. Nick, Community Development and Planning.
All right, thank you, Mayor. I really don't have much to report, just work's continuing, Route 5, Smecco Building, Leonardtown Self-Storage, everything's working, so happy to see work continue in the new year. And then I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Michael and Sylvia, they're the owners of the new El Pico Morso in town. I know they opened last week, seems like things are going well for them so far. I actually had dinner there Thursday night, it was delicious, they've done a great job, so just want to say congrats to them. Welcome, and wish them luck in the new year. That's all I had.
Right. Okay, Kristi, Utilities.
I don't have a whole lot to report. I do want to thank staff for the turnaround and the getting the Route 5 water main put back on. I know you guys were probably all out trying to keep it calm the storm, but I know it was back on as quickly as possible, so I appreciate that. And I just hope everyone had a great holidays, and I look forward to 2021. Hopefully it's
Yep.
doing so great. It's only up from here, right?
Don't say that, gosh. People are like, you jinx us every time you say that.
Okay, thank you. Jay, Southern Maryland Municipal Association.
All right, thank you, Mayor. SMMA, no update right now. Our next MML, Maryland Municipal League Board of Directors meeting is January 23rd. And again, that's going to be a virtual meeting because we still can't meet in person, unfortunately, but hopefully we soon can try to do something in person, maybe in the springtime. And that's really it. I hope everyone had a happy 2021 New Year celebration, and we're all trying to stay positive for this upcoming year. So thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mary, Business Development and Retention.
Yes, and the tax laws are changing as I'm sitting here. It's making life just that much more interesting. But there's some really great things that have come out for small businesses. On December 27th, the CAA was passed, which allowed the PPP to be totally forgiven for small businesses, which was something we hadn't seen up until then. The PPP was not going to be taxable, but the expenses were not going to be deductible. And so they did change that on December 27th. They've also allowed for a new round of PPP. So I'm really hoping that's going to do some good things for small businesses. Another really cool thing that they put in is there's now 100% business deduction for restaurants, for any business. So any business that actually goes and buys food from a restaurant and supplies it for their employers will get 100% deduction, and that's new. It's been 50%.
Right.
So that's a huge thing for restaurants. I was really excited to see that. Charitable contribution deduction has gone up for the new year, so it's up to $600 for cash contributions, and that's an above-the-line deduction. So that's going to really be good for charities, so I'm really happy to see that. And just kind of wanted to give a recap on the economic development here in St. Mary's County. They were funded from the CARES Act to help small businesses, and they funded 302 grant applications, 266 awards to small businesses, and 36 awarded to nonprofits. And this was $5,000 to $10,000, and actually for most of my businesses, it was over $10,000 that they got for small business relief. And they also funded 78 grants at $10,000 each for restaurants, and they did open a new restaurant relief fund. So anybody that didn't get the $10,000 before can apply for it now. That's open until January 21st. So anybody that needs help with that, please let me know. That's a great thing to help out our small businesses. And that's what I have.
Okay, I saw the governor announced a number of things this morning at 11, both business and personal, so more relief coming there too. So.
Stimulus package, it looked like a personal stimulus package
Right.
and some things, so we'll see how that all shakes out.
Yep.
So.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody have anything else? If not, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mayor, I do have a question, comment.
Sure.
So,
For the record, just state your name.
Kevin Mattingly, Keyway, 22580 Keyway. So last December, I came to the workshop with some concerns to the town council as suggested by town council members. So when I came to that meeting, I came with some concerns. I brought those concerns up, and so then we followed through, and so really, nothing has really been done with them. I appreciate that everybody's email addresses are now on there, so it's easier to email you guys. But there's other concerns that I had, and just I guess I have to apologize. So I've lived in this town all my life, 55 years, and I have not been coming to town council meetings. Now I have started to get involved in them. When is there a chance for a concerned citizen to bring up complaints or concerns to the town council in this forum?
Well, I mean, you can bring a complaint to the office anytime.
Okay.
And of course, you know, the meetings aren't necessarily open to the public, but we've never stopped anyone from speaking at one of our meetings.
If they're not open to the public, you're not following your own charter.
Well,
It says that it's open to the public and they can talk.
Well, no, I mean, it's open to the public, and again, we've never stopped anyone from speaking if they asked to.
Okay.
I mean, Roger can attest to that, so.
Okay.
He was on the council, so.
All right. Because I've been told they can participate, but they can't speak, so.
And again, we've never stopped anyone
Well,
from.
I think that maybe the charter that you guys have, is that not being followed?
Well,
Because that states in there that,
again, I mean, we're open to the public. I mean,
Okay.
you know, we allowed you to speak today.
Okay.
Yeah, if anyone comes, they're allowed to speak, so.
okay.
Yeah. And regarding your questions, I think we did respond to
And
you
that's
by
fine.
email,
We gotta-
that we are looking at, you know, not just that one issue that you're talking about, but, you know, all the issues around town with traffic. So, you know, we've brought in a consultant for that, and when we get those.
That's fine.
Sure,
We can-
sure.
So I just wanted to make sure that, so if, say for instance, when she brings up this ordinance to procure property, me as a person, can I have input during your discussion when you call for your motion and then the discussion?
Sure, but again, we've never stopped anyone from speaking during the.
Okay,
And just like today, we had 2 public hearings. That's for any ordinance to be passed, we have to have a public
Yeah.
hearing. And so that's why we opened it up to the public specifically for that ordinance.
okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you for educating me, but I just thought that it would be more of a dialogue with the community. And I see that, so the times that I've been here, there's only been one other community member here, which these 2, I'm sure they were here for
Well, yeah,
but,
sure,
you know, I just,
but no, we've never not allowed someone to speak.
okay,
Yep. And then plan on it, so.
okay.
Okay. Okay, anything else for the? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Have a good trip back
See how you doing?
I'm good, how are you doing?